Morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us all this morning. I'm Sophie from Avis Budget Group. So, for those of you that don't know Avis Budget Group, we are a car hire company with various brands underneath us. Two of the most well-known brands are our brand Avis and Budget. So Avis is a trusted and award-winning brand with a long history of innovation in the car rental industry, and is one of the world's top brands for customer loyalty within the car hire space. And then our Budget brand combines its strength of one of the world's largest global car rental companies and also enjoys its brand market leadership. And the Budget brand you will tend to find in a lot of the same locations as Avis, just a few less of those locations. And the Budget brand is targeted more to those customers who are more price conscious. A few of the other brands that we have underneath the Avis Budget Group umbrella is our brand Apex, which is found in New Zealand. We also have our Majori brand, which is one of the largest car rental companies within Italy. We also have our Payless brand, which is in around 120 rental locations and is usually in North America, South America, and Europe. And then we also have our Zipcar brand, which a few of you might be aware of. It's predominantly around London, and this is the world leading car sharing network. So it's where customers can become a member. We have about 1 million members, and they can basically pick up the car and drop it off in various locations. And due to smart technology, we're able to see where that is, so the next customer knows where to pick up the car. So, in terms of Avis Budget Group, one of the main things to sort of note is that we are truly global. We are in 10,400 locations and we have 21,000 employees worldwide. So, this is a really great way to really showcase us as a sustainable brand, in the sense we are really putting into local global economies by hiring local people. And we also have both airport and downtown locations. So this means we're accommodating for those locals that couldn't necessarily go to the airport, but also finding those areas within a destination that's not so touristic. So we really are contributing to the local economies there. The other way our business model works is that we have some corporately owned locations from sort of Avis Budget Group's core countries within Europe, but we also have a licensee network and a joint venture network. So you'll see on the map here, anything highlighted in red or yellow is something that's franchised out. So that means the people within the local companies, if they're part of the organisation that owns that Avis location, they are also benefiting from the profits there as well. So at Avis, we do see sustainability through a wider lens than just environmental. So I'm going to touch on a few things that we do as an organisation. So we are an equal opportunity employer, and we are proud to provide an inclusive workplace where all of our employees know where they are valued and their uniquenesses are recognised for their diverse talents. So one way we do this internally, and this can also be seen on our ESG report on the Avis Budget Group's website, is we have 4 ERGs internally. So these are Power of Women, Power of Colour, Power of Veterans, which is particularly popular within the US, and Power of Pride. So what we can do as an organisation is you can become part of these groups and sort of network with the people that are part of this. It's always inclusive. So if you're in the Power of Women sort of ERG, you can 100% be a man and join. And what the company also does is hold regular webinars with external speakers to come in and put together a webinar or an in-person event for us to all learn and educate ourselves and learn how to become an ally to those people within the organisation who fall under these groups. We also have supplier diversity. So we're an industry leader in supporting diverse suppliers. We invest significant time and funds into minority and women-owned business enterprises. So we have a public commitment, which is on our ESG report, to achieve a cumulative spend of at least $10 billion of certified diverse suppliers by 2030. And we are well on our way to achieving this, as in 2021, we spent $2.2 billion alone in just that year. We also have a diversity, equity and inclusion policies, and we are sort of forced to report on that. So we are being held accountable to what the company says. So 66% of our workforce in the US is represented by minority groups, and 36% of our global workforce is held by women in those senior positions. So moving on to environmental, I have a few facts to sort of discuss. So firstly, 63% of our vehicles are rated 30 miles per gallon or better. So this really shows that all the cars that we enter into our fleet across all of our brands are brand new. So this means they're the most environmentally friendly. So your customers can be rest assured, even if they are renting a petrol or diesel vehicle, that it is the most environmentally friendly that it can be. In Scandinavia is probably one of our sort of highlights as a location in terms of sustainability, as 68% of our vehicles there are hybrid or electric. And the great success story behind this is really the infrastructure within Scandinavia. So last year, in conjunction with TTG, we took 10 agents to Norway and we rented electric cars. But it was so much easier to do so in that sort of destination, as there were electric charging points all over the country. And there were quick charging points as well. So you could stop for lunch and within half an hour, your car is charged and ready to go again. And this also shows that last year, 5.3 million miles has been driven on our electrical vehicles. So this is something as a company we're heavily investing on. And this is where we could use your guys' support and help to really educate customers on this and really encourage them to try out an electric car when they go away into destination. And in 2021, we also installed 35 water-saving car wash systems across all of our major facilities within the US. I think they focus on the US particularly here, as it's such a huge market for us and such a huge country. And within these systems, we recycled and reused up to 80% of their water waste, which is really amazing to sort of showcase, as well as part of our operation, especially in the US. You can imagine the amount of vehicles we're turning around all the time and using a lot of water. So it's also really important that we're looking at all of our customer journey when the customer drops off the car to really enforce the sustainability element. And in 2021, we also recycled 250,000 and 289,000 tyres, 16,744 car batteries, and 74,009 windshields. So again, the whole journey of the car, if we are keeping this and not giving it back to the manufacturer, we are looking at all of the ways we can really give back and make it sustainable. And then overall, from all of our brands, we have 30,000 hybrid and electrical vehicles, which again is one of the largest low emission car rental fleets compared to all the other car rental providers. So some top tips for selling sustainability. I think a lot of the time customers sort of expect us all to have a sustainable holiday. But what we've been really doing at Avis is really showcasing what sort of holiday you can get which is sustainable, which customers don't necessarily always think about. So with car hire in particular, is to really sell in the experience. Having a car really allows your customers to be adventurous, have an authentic experience, and really see a destination. You're not tied to one particular location within that country. If you have a car, you really have the freedom to go out and really see a destination. And this really allows you to travel off the beaten track, visit those places less concentrated with tourism, and then allows you to put money back into the local economies and prevent economic leakage. So this is really when you can use the car, do a road trip, see lots of different places, stop at local restaurants or local hotels. And the car really allows customers to be able to do that with less faff on having to get public transport. So for more inspirational content, please do visit our website, our direct website, avis.co.uk. We have some really great driving routes for you to be able to use and promote to your customers to really showcase car hire. So thank you so much for listening. And please let me know if you have any questions. Oh, thanks, Peter, actually, for the question. So it all really is down to the sort of the infrastructure within the country. So within Europe, Avis as a company, we have at least one car group which is electrical. So you can see when you do make a booking, it's got the green sort of charger next to it. But in terms of the countries, we have to work really closely with governments and airports to actually get the car chargers there. So for some locations and in some countries as well, if we were to plug in 100 electrical vehicles, we probably switch down the whole airport electric. So it's really us working with the countries to do that. But if you do rent an electrical car with Avis, we do give a pack with some of the electrical charging points and explain the charges to allow things to be a bit easier for customers. As I think it is quite daunting having an electric car if you're not that sure on how to charge it, especially if you don't have one in the UK at home. Oh, and thanks, Meg, as well. So I think it's similar to the last question as well. So it's really working with local governments again to try and push it with that. But it's also with customer demand as well, because we have noticed that a lot of customers don't necessarily want to rent electrical cars. But if you're looking at the Scandinavian market, for example, they are really pushing for us to really sell electrical cars globally as well.
Sophie, can I ask roughly how costs tend to compare? Would electric vehicles tend to be kind of comparable? Can they be a bit pricier? I know that if you buy an electric car, it can be a lot more, can't it?
Yeah, well, for us as a company, it's definitely a much bigger investment than it has been. And I think due to the pandemic as well, I don't know if everyone's aware of the microchip issue,
Mm.
but for a normal petrol car, they need a few microchips. For an electric car, it's hundreds. So there's been quite a backlog to really try and sort of source the electrical cars as well moving forwards. But in terms of actually renting, it's a lot cheaper to just be able to charge it with the electric than if you were to get traditional fuel at a petrol station. So it is economical in that sense.
Right. So it might be a touch more to hire up front, but then your petrol costs across a week or whatever are going to be, well, we wouldn't be buying petrol, so it'd be a lot less.
Yes.
And what kind of range of different electric vehicles is there, Sophie? Is it quite kind of basic at the moment, like a simple kind of compact car, or is it a bit of everything?
A bit of everything, to be honest, actually, Pippa. So in Greece is a really good example as well. The team there have sourced loads and loads of electrical cars. We just need customers. Oh, sorry, we just need customers to rent them. So they have some smaller compact cars, and they also have some bigger SUV cars as well
Okay.
to be able to rent. And it's the same for Scandinavia. So where we can, we are trying to get those bigger cars. But in those locations where we only maybe have one electrical car group, they tend to be quite a decent size. You're looking at the 5 seaters and about 4 luggage cases. So it's definitely suited for families.
Okay. Hmm. And are there certain destinations where it just totally is impossible at the moment?
Yes, the US is quite a challenge, to be
Oh,
honest. I think because it's so big and vast,
yeah.
to be able to get the charges there. Because if you do rent a car, you're looking at a 4 hour drive before you then try
Yes.
and do it. So if you're in the US doing a road trip, you're not going to get very far,
It's
or
not
it
very
might take
practical yet.
yeah.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
will come. The
Yes.
technology is always improving, isn't it? So I've no doubt it will get there eventually.
Yes.
It's the
Yeah, no,
future.
definitely.
Awesome. Thank you for taking those questions, Sophie. It's 9:54, so I think we will probably get an alert any second now that we're about to move over to our next session, where you will be meeting Juliana from Colombia. So let's just wait until we get the nudge. That should come now. Yeah, good. Start Colombia. See you all there, everyone. Thanks, Sophie.